having a sub for theater is incredibly hard. You always want to be there for performances because you want to evaluate them. But that I figured out is some of the easier time to miss because you simply have someone record it and share the video with you. And you give them some qualifications on where, to put the camera. Don't give me a wide shot from the back of the theater that I can't see faces, right? So frame them so they're within the frame. I don't need the whole stage if it's a 2-person scene. And be close enough to get, solid audio. So understanding those moments that you can step out of a class. Reading a play, I think starting a scene work is harder because you want to be there to make sure they're getting all of that in-depth stuff, because students don't just read the text once and fully understand the script. So you can do some online Google Forms or different things so they have to answer those questions as you go along. But then it begins to start to feel like an English class. And sometimes that's okay. It depends in there a little bit. Tech classes, try to, have design ideas, reading script ideas for them to be able to do things. Go find some videos on cool ways to do things. Sometimes they just come to you and they're like, hey, how do you do this? I'm like, well, what research have you done? Sometimes they're like, hey, where's this? I'm like, well, where have you looked? Right? So asking questions back gets them hopefully thinking, having a culture of inquiry, of being curious and digging into what they want to find out. So I guess I would say 15-minute sections for the sub, 15 to 20 minutes in there. Do this for this long, do this for this long. If you've got student leaders that can lead warm-up games, play games with students, utilizing them. Some written activities can work. Other ideas that I have, so get yourself a really good student teacher. That's what I have right now. So I'm traveling with my seniors as they do a children's theater piece. And it's nice to be able to leave my student teacher who's instructing the class, and then you just have another adult, be in the room. And that's real easy to do. Not really easy to do, but convenient for me right now. Every Friday, I end the week thinking about, okay, what's next week? Making sure I've got plans for that week. At the beginning of each day, I spend a few intentional minutes when I drink my first cup of coffee, thinking through the day. And so I know what's happening that day, but then how it relates to the next couple of weeks. So I'm not frantic about what should happen in class. So then it falls back into, okay, what is going to happen in class? So my next school day, my tech theater 1 students are presenting their first light design. And so could they still do that without me there? Absolutely. I would just then need to, instead of giving oral feedback and criticism to them so other students can pick up on and hear that, I would have to follow it up with written feedback to them. My advanced technical theater class is in the middle of a project that I've helped them get started with. It's due in another week, so they could work without me pretty efficiently. My advanced acting class is working on some scene work right now, and they have the expectations, so they know what's expected of them to work within a scene. We have built out a timeline so they know exactly how far they should be along each step. Now, I'm not there to hold their feet to the fire to make sure they're accountable, but they have those clear expectations of what's on them. A beginning acting class might be the hardest point. They are in the middle of a playwriting unit right now, kind of an intermediate acting class because we're wrapping up to the end of the year. And so in their next class day, they're going to they're going to present their first draft of their writing by acting out their scenes. Once again, they could do that, but then they would be missing my feedback. And so giving the teacher the sub questions to ask the students, creating a quick Google form that every student responds to the scene, and then sharing those responses out the next day. It's never taking a day off. Sometimes missing days means you're working later into the night or whatnot, but understanding what's going to happen and how you can manipulate and change your timeline. And some of it's got to be on the kids. They've got to take some ownership of their learning. And I'm blessed right now. I've got really, really good kids. So if I had some freshman boys in particular at the beginning of the semester that were right, you give the sub the heads up. You assign the groups and you make sure you split them up. Little tricks like that. And then you let them be in a group together, but you let them be in a group together on the days that you're there so that you can monitor that behavior. Because you don't want that guest teacher to come in and have to deal with. Now,